One way black people achieve true liberation, that's by taking it in blood. There has to be blood all over the floor. There has to be bodies on the floor. There has to be people screaming and crying. That is the reality. And this is what history shows me. No.
Oh my God.
We may end up wrapping this thing on up, man. Let me see if I got a good video to finish it off with, man. I used my funny video earlier. I think I'm gonna let y'all go. Oh wait, hold on. I gotta play this video. Hold on. So I came across this earlier today, and I gotta hold on. Am I? Should I even play it? Matter of fact, I gotta play it. Let me get y'all thoughts on this real quick.
With any of these black people, one way black people achieve true liberation, that's by taking it in blood. There has to be blood all over the floor. There has to be bodies on the floor. There has to be people screaming and crying. That is the reality. And this is what history shows me. No amount of begging, no amount of complaining, no amount of protesting, nada is going to get you your liberation until you take it with blood. You see? So this is why I sit back and I don't play along with any of these black people talking about it's a spiritual war and this, that, because when those cops are going into our neighborhoods and shooting our babies, that's a physical thing. You see, y'all so worried about the spiritual world, and all, but you're not worrying about the world that's right in your face. When we're getting thrown in prison, that's a physical thing, right? Address the physical. You see, this is why I say don't hit my phone until y'all ready to do what y'all know we got to do. When y'all ready to go outside and hunt them white boys, hunt them cops, go to that white boy's neighborhood and fuck his shit up. When y'all ready to do what y'all know we got to do, hit me. But until then, I'm not playing around with y'all because it's all of these excuses for why we don't want to do it. Why? Many of us are scared. You know what I mean? Many of us are complacent in our oppression. You know, many of us don't want to burn the relationships we have with white people, all of these things. So I'm going to sit back and do my thing. When y'all ready to go outside and take blood, hit me anytime. But you see, a lot of us are not ready to do that. But I'm trying to tell y'all, there is no freedom. There is no liberation for our people until there's blood on that floor, on that battlefield. And that's the truth we don't want to admit.
All right, so I wanted to initially play this video for a bunch of reasons. And I was always on the fence about it. Playing it, not necessarily about playing it. Let me keep it on here. Here we go. One of the reasons why I wanted to play it is to show us how a lot of this radicalism and extremism can put people in a certain position, can encourage certain type of behavior. And my mind honestly goes a whole bunch of different places when I'm hearing this. When I see him, I get mad at the older generation of men. I'm just being honest. When I hear him ready to crash out and create a race war and go hunt white people and white cops, I blame bad leadership.
Ew. Sorry to interrupt the video. We got a new challenge. 20,000 by the end of April. We fell short in March, but we're gonna get our goal this month. Thank you all in advance for those that are gonna continue to like, subscribe, maybe even leave some comments and let us know how we're doing. And on that note, let me let y'all get back to the video and I'll see y'all soon. Ew.
And Ant wrote, Ant, you read the same thing that I read when I looked at it. I'm reading the situation the same way. He doesn't seem ready to do that. If you were ready to do that, then you wouldn't be on camera saying you're ready to do that. You would just be going out and getting busy. But now you on camera saying that, promoting other people, and this is the toughest thing that I'm going to say. But I got to keep it real with y'all. A lot of people will look at this dude and say, yo, he's ignorant. And this is why I said I don't really blame him, or I blame, let me restate that. I put the emphasis on the leadership. This is a reflection of poor leadership. Attitude reflects leadership, Captain, right? Remember the Titans, Julius and Bertier. A lot of people can be looking at him and say, oh my God, how could anybody think like that? I've questioned those things. back in 2013, 14, I would never say that I was ready to take up arms. Um, but this type of talk did not seem crazy to me in 2013, 2014. I'm being totally honest with you. And it's because I was angry, I was pissed off, I was absorbing a lot of media that was only leaning one way. I felt helpless and hopeless. I was disgusted in the Black leadership that I was seeing trying to go about it one way. And in my opinion, it seemed like, oh, they're just, you keep trying to be passive. But then when you look around at the world, and let's keep it real, because initially what went through my mind, and I'm saying that I've been there to show y'all that I assume that a lot of y'all mess with me, that y'all tap in from time to time, right? And y'all would be thinking like, how could anybody think like that? I could have thought like that. Now, I was never as extreme as that. I'm just being totally honest with you. But there were certain times where I would align more with this type of guy than perhaps who I am now. I'm just being honest with you. And that's what happens. And that's why I get so angry. And that's why I feel like it's a responsibility to jump up here and talk about a lot of the stuff that we talk about and call it out. Shoot, Queez will tell you what I was on. Like the blackity black, all that. Yeah. As far as how I was seeing the world, I was seeing the world totally different then. And it's funny that in certain areas, it led me to this growth. But in other areas, I just look at it like, nah, bro, I'm glad you grew out of that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not sure if what I just said makes total sense, but hopefully y'all can understand what I'm saying. There's certain areas that the mindset that I had, it's not that I don't think that, and see, there's a right, like sometimes we look at stuff like, what's right? And then you look at, well, what has worked? So when I look around at the world, and because initially when this young man was speaking, I'm looking at it from a standpoint like, yeah, I hate when I start saying like, I'm looking at it from a standpoint where I instantly thought about, well, Jewish people, they're extremely successful. But then you start to look at what we see happening in a lot of those areas. A lot of Europeans, let's keep it real, America, the stuff that it was built on, right? I'm coming in here, I'm killing off all the people that were here, enslaving some of the others, bringing on some slaves. And that's how we operate. And a lot of the powers that are the most powerful countries right now, they got it in blood. But see, this is where, in my opinion, for me, just my personal growth has come in. I don't believe just because they do something that I got to do it. I don't believe in this whole back and forth. Well, Donald Trump did it, so we're going to do it. No, what do you stand on? What are your principles and morals? I'm not shifting my principles and morals based on how somebody else is behaving. Now, always going to defend myself to a certain point. So that could obviously be encouraged from there. But I got to feel like I'm better than that. I got to feel like there's another way. I got to feel like humanity is better than that. I don't want it to be an eye for an eye, because you realize very quickly that things are never going to stop. Case in point, Israel and Palestine. Does anybody see that? Oh, well, it was this date that this happened. Oh, well, before that, this happened. And I'm not saying right now who's right, who's wrong. I'm just saying you get to the point where nobody knows who's right and wrong, or the right and wrong becomes irrelevant. Now, certain people may know who was right and wrong, but it becomes irrelevant because there's just people on one side and there's people on the other side. They're just competing. They're just fighting. So it doesn't matter. We see it in gang life. Well, who started the beef between the Bloods and the Crips? Who started the beef between this set of the Crips and that set of the Crips. Who started it? Well, they started it. Yeah, but it's been going on for 20, 30 years, and y'all killing each other in LA. Y'all killing each other in Chicago because of something that happened to some with people that you didn't even know off of some silly stuff. So for me, it's like, I can understand. I'm being totally honest with y'all. I can understand how somebody gets frustrated to a point and frustrated with the leadership when you're looking at the Al Sharptons of the world, when you're looking at a lot of, I can understand. I don't think it's right. Let me be clear. I don't think that it's right. But I'm telling y'all that I've been almost here in my thinking, and my thinking would align more with this young man than my thinking now in 10 years ago or 13 years ago. I'm telling y'all that to show us how dangerous it can be when we receive a certain type of information and we're misled and manipulated. Also, how dangerous it can be for a lot of young kids that are growing up and the leadership is not there. The proper leadership is not there. And let's say we're talking specifically about the Black community. So you grow frustrated. You feel like there's no other option. So I'm crashing out. I'm telling y'all this to give some clarity for the people that may believe in a lot of the Democrat and liberal principles. I don't know what this person's politics are, but I'm going off of me. When I believed in the Democrat liberal principles, I was more aligned with this young man's thinking than I am now and how I see the world. So when a lot of the older generation, when y'all are pushing a lot of these Democrat and liberal radical ideologies and not taking a leadership role, us not having a true leader that we can look up to right now, we do not have a Malcolm. We got Al Sharpton. We don't have a Martin. We got Al Sharpton. This is what happens. So I'm not blaming y'all, but at some point we got to take responsibility in whatever generation I'm in right now and how I impact or do not impact the next generation. We got to take some responsibility with that. And if nobody takes responsibility with that, we're going to continue having situations and young men like this that have this particular mindset. Now, a lot of people would say, imagine having his mindset, like he has so much pride for his people that he's ready to go risk his life. He's ready to go kill. I wouldn't. Now, initially, what went through my mind is perhaps he needs to be in the military, in the army, and having that pride for America. But then in all actuality, even when I think about it from that standpoint, that's the wrong mindset to have, even if you're in the military, just justifying doing the same things. Because look what I just did in my mind. I said, oh, it's okay if you have this mindset when it comes to us as a country and wreaking havoc, destroying, dropping bombs, pillaging, raping. Like, it's okay when we're wearing the USA uniform, right? But then we can't understand when this man is saying what he's saying. Why is it okay for us to justify Ukraine having to fight in blood, to have to kill, for Russia to have to kill, for Israel to have to kill 50,000 plus Palestinians, for Palestine to feel like they got to, kill? Obviously, it wasn't those numbers. Why do we look at it through a lens, but then we'll look at this dude as saying like, yo, he's bugging, he's tripping. But then when us as a country, we do it, it's not a problem. And I just did it. Y'all just saw me do it in real time. In my mind, I told y'all my initial feeling was like, oh no, he need to be in the military with that energy. He absolutely does not need to be in the military with that energy. And people who have that type of energy, or people in the military, when our military, I don't even want to get into that. I don't even want to get into that. My fault. I know I just went on some talking points. Let me wrap it up quickly. Let me catch up with some of these comments real quick, and then we'll wrap it up. But like I said, I just wanted to be vulnerable with y'all to show y'all how, especially when you're young, you have a vulnerable mind. You also have a lot of testosterone. You want to fight for a cause. You see something that's unfair. You get in a position where this just ain't right. I feel hopeless. I feel like I don't have good leadership. Nobody to believe in. You can be persuaded to have some pretty extreme views. And I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there. So I hope that we can get away from this radical stuff. I really do. Because it doesn't benefit this young man, and obviously doesn't benefit the communities. If he's going into white communities, killing cops and killing just random people, it obviously doesn't benefit them, but it doesn't benefit him either. But he thinks that it does. The same way a lot of our military members, the soldiers, they think that what they're doing is benefiting the overall good of humanity. No, it's not. No, it's not. You're only justifying it because it's not your people dying. Unc wrote, society breeds hate because of the disadvantages that our youth have. It's a generational difference. It was no difference for me than it was for you. Okay. I get what you're saying. You're saying like the generational differences. I got you. Am I Black Enough for You is still one of my favorite songs. I sent you a video direct. It pertains to Africa, but it also pertains to all of us in America. And yeah, maybe we'll get it together for Monday. Maybe that's something that you can present on Monday for everybody. Would be interesting to understand this young man's level of faith, and faith in what and why has he arrived to this conclusion? Gee, I'll be totally honest with you. I can't speak on his faith, but what I can speak on is mine. And y'all know I don't play the whole victim stuff. Y'all know I don't. One of the reasons why I don't have a faith, I'll be totally honest with you, is because how Christianity was given to Black people was totally different how Christianity was given to white people. And how do I know this? Is because I've sat down with white pastors. I've sat down with Black pastors. I've sat down with a white pastor in my hometown, and she told me that not only how it was given to Black people was different, was given to you to be oppressive, so you would be comfortable being oppressed, obey your earthly master, where it was something that was taught totally different to the white population. How can I buy into that? So that's why I look at Christianity different than a lot of other people may look at Christianity who are not Black. Just being totally honest with you. Then when you start to do some research and you realize, like, damn, they changed the entire vision of image of what Jesus looked like. Why would they do that? Why would Michelangelo recreate the image of Jesus? Why when I go on ChatGPT and I look at what did the people look like who were in the in the Palestinian region? What did they originally look like? Oh, they look like this. Oh, that's interesting. That's not how it looks. The people, that's not how Jesus is portrayed now. So it goes beyond, well, some people may say, oh, it doesn't matter, what Jesus's color was. Well, if it didn't matter, why did you change? Those are the questions that I ask. Why was it changed? Clearly, you felt it mattered if you wanted to commission to make a blanket change of who Jesus looked like, especially when it's contradicted in the Bible. The image that I grew up in my church looking at is not what it says in the Bible. So faith is a very interesting conversation when it comes to Black people, in my opinion. So I would say give a little grace when it comes to that. We know the story about Nat Turner. Nat Turner was a preacher. A lot of people may not know that. The reason why Nat Turner has his revolution is because he was tired of preaching one thing. He was one of the slaves that was taught to read. He was taught to read, and then he was taught to say, like, oh, we can use this nigga. We can use him to teach an oppressive religion under the Christianity umbrella to the Black people, while we teach this uplifting religion to the white people over here. And he got sick and tired of it to the point where he eventually crashed out and said, nah. And then we got Nat Turner's rebellion, where he feels, I'm killing the kids, I'm killing the wife, I'm killing everybody in the house, I'm killing everybody. That's what happened. He crashed out. But we got to also look at the root of the issues, right? So when you have a faith, why does everybody's faith, most people who who believe in a particular faith, their savior, the person that the Jesus, the Muhammad figure, they tend to look like the people that are worshiping them. Because we can sit here and act as if imagery is not an important thing. It is. It is. That's half the reason we've been talking about having a discussion with Michelle Obama and Barack Obama, because it's important to represent. That's one thing that I will never take away from Barack Obama. One thing I will never take away from Barack Obama is he represented us well. It was a great image for us to see as far as what a black family, an American family could look like. Both. So what faith am I supposed to buy into? And I'm not making excuses. Black people, we don't know our history. We don't know what religion that we were, what religion we worshiped or what religion we lived by before Christianity. Look at what the Arabs did in Africa. They did it with Islam. The slave trade in Islam in Africa was twice as long, and from what I read, way worse than what happened in America. So when you have these religions, I'm sorry, I'm just not the type that I don't accept the religion of people that gave me the religion who were trying to conquer me. So I acknowledge, like, yo, and this is why I used to be so against religion overall. I think it was for good reasons. I still agree with the reasons why I was against it, but I've just grown to a point that I realized, like, damn, people need something to follow. People need something to follow. But if we're really concerned with this young man, and G, I'm not talking to you directly. If we're really concerned with this young man and believe that he needs to have a certain level of faith and some spiritual improvement, then let's look at it big picture wise and maybe understand, have some empathy in understanding why he may not align with the faiths that typically a lot of us align with. That would be my question. That would be my question. Uncle Rod, I've tried to mentor my nephews into a better way of life, and sometimes I can't even reach them because of the brainwashing that life has already given them. That's a fact. Uncle Rod, I'm the new Malcolm. I don't have an audience. We're going to give you one. I've been researching this. So, yeah, these are some of the thoughts that we got to take into consideration. It's easy to look at this young man and say, damn, what faith is he? Like, what's his faith like? Well, let's look at our options that we've been presented. Like, you can't, the only reason why the majority of, when I ask my parents, why they taking me to church? Why are you Christian? Oh, because they're parents and their parents and their parents. But then there's a certain point where there's like a break in history where it's like, oh, that's not the type of religion that they were practicing. And we all know how you can read from the same book and pledge to the same Christianity and interpret that book to where you can have, obviously we have different, you got Presbyterian, you got Baptist, you got all these. Interpretation matters. So I'm saying to just give a little empathy. Yes, I hope that this young man, and I almost don't even want to say he gets some type of spiritual healing, because it's like, who am I to judge what type of healing he needs? But I'm going to judge. I hope he gets the spiritual healing that I believe would benefit him. I truly hope that he does that, because I don't think anybody should have that type of mindset where they believe that the only way that they can fix a problem or attain a particular goal is to kill people. But looking around the world, it seems like us being America, that's very much like the pot calling the kettle black. When we look at what our tax dollars are going towards, when we look at the amount of bombs that we drop on other countries, just because stuff hasn't hit our coast and our country. Look at how we reacted over 9/11. Look at how we reacted over 9/11. That's every day in some of these countries in the Middle East. Dropping bombs or flying a plane, whatever you believe. So all I'm saying is, let's just look at it big picture wise. I disagree completely, and I wanted to be vulnerable enough to share with y'all that, yo, this person's thoughts, a lot of people can be looking at it and say, like, how could anybody think that way? I'm telling y'all how somebody could think that way. So, but we got to do better. We got to do better. And that's why I can't stand the division that a lot of the Democrats and the liberals create. I can't stand it. It doesn't benefit. This young man could be looking at it and say, well, look at how everything else was conquered. It was conquered in blood. So obviously we got to get our liberation in blood. Look at how Haiti got their liberation. It was in blood. We got to get our. Logically speaking, how can you not understand what he's saying? I just don't agree with it because overall, from a humanitarian logical standpoint, I disagree with it. So I'll leave that there. I'll leave that there. And G wrote, that's the question. Does he have faith in something? I did not mention Christianity. More so, does he have any faith in anything? And what drives his decisions? No judgment, looking for root cause. And that's why I said I'm not.
Sorry to interrupt the video. We got a new challenge. 20,000 by the end of April. We fell short in March, but we're gonna get our goal this month. Thank you all in advance for those that are gonna continue to like, subscribe, maybe even leave some comments and let us know how we're doing. And on that note, let me let y'all get back to the video and I'll see y'all soon. Ew.
Not specifically making it about you, but having faith in what? I'm telling you the struggle that I had when I was 10 years ago. What would I have faith in? I grew up Christian just because my parents brought me to the church because my grandparents would pick me up at the house and they were into the church. So they would take me to church. And then I started asking questions and I was like, nah, I don't like these answers. And then I eventually sat down with a white pastor and she was the one pretty much giving me the most information, saying like, yo, exactly how you think. That's absolutely right. That is exactly what has happened in Christianity. It was taught to black people to keep them oppressed. This is what the lady told me. I forget her name. I'm sure I have her on my phone. And she said it was taught to white people to be superior. And she was saying that that's still now in the church. How you get the victimhood on this side and a totally different way of preaching on this side. So to have faith to me goes beyond religion and have faith in humanity. Like, you know what I'm saying? Perhaps we should prioritize faith in humanity over faith in everything else, because there's a lot of amazing people that have faith in religion, and religion does a whole lot of great things, right? For a lot of people. But also that faith in religion has led to a whole lot of people dying as well in the name of religion. Right? That slave ship that came over, the Jesus Lubbock, the first slave ship that came over here, or the first or second, I believe it was the first, that landed in, I believe, Jamestown, Virginia. The Jesus was the name of it. So manifest destiny, the European mindset that, oh, you can conquer any land as long as they're not Christian. So what exactly are we having faith in? It's easy to say, do we have faith in something when we're in the comforts of America, perhaps, but what do we really have faith in? A lot of people have died in the name of religion. So whether it's faith in Christianity or faith in any other religion, when we say faith, we typically align that with a particular religion. Maybe we should back that up and just have faith in humanity. So I don't know. Ant said having faith in yourself is a good place to start. I agree. All right, let's my apologies. I left y'all. Let's do our 45 seconds. 45 seconds. Y'all know what we do at the end of every show. 45 seconds, clear your mind. Do whatever it is you need to do. Meditate, manifest, get your breath work in. Whatever you need to do. Y'all know what we set out in the beginning of every week to do, which is to make this our greatest week ever. Maybe concentrate on the things that we need to do the rest of the day in order to bring that to fruition. A lot of stuff that I got to knock out on my end, I know. So let's take that 45 seconds right now. I'm closing my eyes. You choose to do whatever it is that is best for you. 45 seconds starting now. All right, one last exhale, exhaling all the negative energy, inhaling all the positive. I like that last comment, G. Be well all, have faith in one another. Let's have faith in each other, yo. We are all connected. We're all connected. All right. Let's have faith in the things that unite us rather than the things that separate us. Y'all know we come in to do elevate on purpose, both from an intentional standpoint that challenges us by raising our standards to become the best leaders we can become, and in order to grow into the people we need to become to accomplish these amazing goals that we set out for ourselves. Strengthen, honor, onward and upward. Get to that bag. If you don't know what I mean, I'm talking about all the things throughout the week that are going to put us in the position to not only win the week, but to align with the proper trajectory that's going to allow us to live in our purpose and strive for that purposeful abundance that we look for, and that personal legend. Yeah, I got to read The Alchemist. I'm telling you, it's a dope book. All right. Let's make sure that we're doing all the little things. That's what I mean when I say get into that bag. So what's in my bag? Peace, love, happiness, health, wealth, and in everything we do. Integrity. Great people. Have a great weekend. Go see Sinners. Sinners was dope. Queens, how did I not talk about that? We talking about Sinners on Monday. How did I not talk about this today? I saw it on, you know why? Because I saw it on Monday. And because we're only on Monday and Friday now, oh man. Queen sent the fire emojis. Y'all know what it is. Please make sure that you like and subscribe on your way out. And on that note, I'll see y'all. Everybody have a great weekend. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Let's give grace. Let's hug each other. Let's love each other. And let's focus on the things that bring us together rather than the things that separate us. On that note, I'll see y'all soon. Ew.